Your sales calls feel awkward and pushy, and there's a certain reason why you only have a 30, maybe 40% close rate. Here's the thing, you're not a bad salesperson, you're just using the wrong approach. Most coaches think that sales is all about convincing someone to buy something from you, but after generating over $500,000 in client revenue in the past year alone, I've realized a lot of our sales calls are not even sales calls. It's just a call where I'm trying to help someone out. And so the day you go from convincing to helping is the day you change your entire business. Today, I'm going to show you the exact psychological shift that turns those awkward, pushy sales calls into problem-solving sessions where the prospect is literally trying to sell you on why you should work with them. Let's get into it. Very first thing, let's say this is you. And right now, you are a salesperson. This is your prospect. And the prospect has a lot of problems, pains, and fears. And so it's your role on this call to showcase a solution to their problems, showcase exactly how you're going to use their pains as fuel for motivation for them to succeed in your program, and then most importantly, eliminate any sort of fears that they may have about working with you or anyone else in the industry. So let me draw two different kinds of people. First, there is the salesperson, and on the other hand, there is someone who is more of a doctor. Now, they're both on the sales call, and both of these guys have the same goal and the same exact prospect, but they both go about it in two different ways. The salesman tries to convince someone to buy from them, whereas the doctor tries to diagnose first and see if they can even help them out in the first place. The salesman only talks about their solution, whereas the doctor talks about the symptoms of their current pain. The salesman over here creates pressure, whilst the doctor tries to create some sort of clarity, giving them a clear roadmap, a clear game plan from point A to point B. So the prospect is clear in their mind on how they're going to achieve their goal. And then finally, the salesman gets objections of, I want to think about it, let me talk to my partner, etc., etc. Whereas the doctor, who is now seen as an authority, as someone who was genuinely trying to help them out, gets paid in full. And that is exactly what you're trying to become. You want to go into a call to diagnose their problem, not to solve it from the bat. And so that's your goal when you're going into the sales call. You're a doctor, not a salesperson. That's exactly how I won the school games and generated over $500,000 in client revenue, because we wanted to help people out, not convince and try to make them buy something they didn't need. Right now I want to say, so our program is the perfect fit for you. It helps coaches scale or whatever. Like, I could say this to anyone I want, but that's convincing them rather than selling them. Instead, I would ask them, what is your biggest challenge or biggest bottleneck right now? And so now we've shifted the call from all about me, and my offer to more about you as a prospect. Sales is all about 80% listening, even 90%, and 20% talking. And anytime you're even talking, it should be asking questions or acknowledging their responses. That is it. It's all about understanding the prospect and the best way that you can help them out. We're all about diagnosing it. That's number one. It's very important that you have this mindset shift. Now we're going to go through the resistance versus attraction. Right now you probably have a lot of resistance in your calls. So now we're going to flip the switch, and after diagnosing like a doctor, we're going to showcase our entire offer and speak to them almost as if we're attracting them to come work with us rather than the other way around. So in this case, rather than both of you trying to hammer at each other where you're kind of presenting your offer because you want money and the other person just venting all the problems at you, you're both working together hand in hand, helping each other out. That's what sales is about. It's not about convincing, it's about helping. Let's take a magnet, for example. If I give you two magnets, both with, the south poles facing each other, normal physics says they'll repel, right? These magnets are going to repel. They're resisting each other. Whereas if you flip the poles around, you get an entirely different reaction. Now they're attracting. The top one is all about resisting, repulsion. The bottom one is attraction. Even physics applies in sales. And so the reason why there is a lot of repulsion is because you're talking about your program right from the beginning. You're talking about your features and benefits and why you are the best and why no one else can do anything like you can. You're creating a lot of pressure, a lot of urgency, fake scarcity, which people can sense and they know. And finally, you're asking closed questions where they cannot emotionally give you a better response. And so if you're wondering what are good questions to ask, I'm going to be going through a question pyramid on what are the different kinds of questions that unlock different levels of emotions and responses. Whereas attraction is all about being that doctor. You're creating clarity. You're asking them questions about what they want on this program. You're asking about their pains, their problems, their why, and you're understanding their situation. When you understand their problem better than anyone else, including themselves, they will just assume you have a solution and they'll demand for it. Which is exactly why your questions should always be about working together, helping each other out, and all about attracting rather than creating that sales resistance, which is what you don't want. There's only two main reasons why you get objections at the end of the call. Number one, your marketing was not dialed in, and so the prospect wasn't already pre-sold onto you as a person and your entire program. And number two, because you didn't diagnose them well enough in the initial discovery phase. So it's very, very important that you have both good discovery at the start of the sales call. You've dialed in your marketing where you're having a lot of case studies, testimonials, content, a bunch of free value where they understand you are the one-stop solution to their problem. And as promised, I'll leave you with this. I have something that I call the question pyramid. We have three main levels. We have surface, then we have problem, then we have pain. In surface, you're asking very basic information about them, such as what is your current revenue? What's the current revenue goal? What's the current revenue? What are you trying to achieve? Those sort of basic questions where you just get extracting information without any sort of value and actually thought-provoking questions which makes a prospect want to buy from you is the exact reason why you're not closing any, right? Your questions are too surface level. And so let's turn it a notch up. Go to level 2, problem. Now these get to the real issues. But the reason why this is only level 2 is because it's still not getting emotional responses. It's still where most people honestly stop asking. If you're asking a problem-related question such as, why do you want to hit that goal? So let's say you ask someone, what is your current revenue? Or what sort of revenue goal are you trying to achieve? They say, I want to hit 20K a month next month. I'm trying to lose 10 pounds the next 30 days, right? I'm trying to lose some weight. Or I'm trying to lose 25 pounds. The next question above that you want to ask is why? Why do you want to lose 25 pounds? Why do you want to make 50K a month with your coaching business? What is that going to get you, right? And so that is the next step up, which is amazing. It gets the response out of them and helps you diagnose the problem and understand where this prospect is along their journey, and so you can guide them through the entire sales process. However, it doesn't attack their pain directly. This is level 3. This is where decisions are made. It gets emotional impact, gets an emotional response out of them. The moment you get your prospect to emotionally buy into you, they're sold. For example, let's say we ask them, what's your revenue goal? They say 20K a month. I then ask them, okay, well, what's stopping you from hitting that? Or why do you want to hit it, right? And say blah, blah, because of family, because I just want to have a better life. And then we go a step further and we ask them, well, what is that inconsistency right now with you hitting 8K a month, 12K a month getting you at? What happens if you stay inconsistent? That is where you get the pain. That is where the actual emotion comes out. And that's where they open up truly for why they want to do this. Maybe they want to put the child through amazing education. Maybe it's very simple as financial freedom. Maybe it's because they're in debt. But that is where the question comes into play. And so you have these 3 levels: surface, problem, pain. You implement this, and I guarantee you'll close more deals. And so if you're a coach, consultant, or an agency owner who's looking to scale their business to the next level, book a call with me down below where I will personally be reviewing your entire business and developing your custom game plan to help you get to that next level. If you're a beginner and you're just starting out in business, feel free to join my free school community, link down below, where you'll get access to a ton of my free resources. Feel free to drop a like, subscribe, and stay blessed.